Hey there, come on in. Good evening. We're going to start on time tonight so that we can finish on time. Tonight, do me a favor as you come into, hey Arlene, good to see you. As you come into the forum, go ahead and do me a favor and share this broadcast. Go ahead and just start sharing the broadcast as soon as you come in. Hey, good to see you. Good to see you both. Arlene, I saw that picture of your grandson and it was like the most funniest thing ever. I literally laughed out loud. I laughed out loud. It was the cutest picture. Thank you for sharing, Maria. If you guys, when you come in, just go ahead and share the broadcast. I'm going to be watching too on my end. Facebook has been doing its own thing. And it messes up on its own. Hey, come on into the forum. Do not be a looky-loo. Come on into the house. My mom always told me as a kid, when you enter into somebody's house, you should come in and at least say hello. So when you come into my house tonight, come in and say hello. And if you have to tip back out, tip back out. But this is going to be a wonderful time tonight. We're going to start exactly at 9 o'clock sharp. I don't care if it's 3 of us on here. We're starting at 9 o'clock sharp. We are talking tonight about the woman behind the mask. So I'm not going to get too far into it. I'm going to wait for people to come in. And at 9 o'clock in 3 minutes, I am going to go ahead with the conversation. So I hope you're having a wonderful night tonight. Hey, Michelle, good to see you, dear. I hope everybody is having a wonderful night tonight. I got some stuff to talk about tonight. I'm excited about the conversation tonight. It blessed my socks off. Hey, Andre Pfeiffer, good to see you. It's so much stuff that I want to talk about tonight, but come in, join the conversation. Listen, it's a conversation. So if you have some questions, that's how conversations work. Throw some questions at me if you have some questions. If you have some comments, put your comments up there because I feed off of the comments so that I'll know exactly what it is, that what I'm talking about is actually getting this point across. So don't have me out here in this conversation by myself, talking to myself. Even though I do that, don't have me doing it tonight in this conversation. Last thing before we get started in 2 minutes, at some point, I want to invite some people into the conversation. So if you are not afraid to join in this conversation with me, to share your testimony or to share something that you're dealing with hopes that you can break free, then that's what this is about. It is an open forum. Unfortunately, it's on Facebook. But here's the thing, what I know. The Bible says that people are healed by the words of our testimony. And so we can't be afraid of the testimony that God gave us. He allowed the test so that we could have a testimony. And so in that, we should be able to share that testimony with those who need it so that they too can break free. Anyway, so I'm excited. Let's get these numbers up. Share this broadcast. Let's get the numbers up. Right now, I have 44 of y'all. I'm going to prophesy to myself. I have 44 of you guys on this broadcast tonight. I'm looking for 84 of you guys on this broadcast tonight. Let's share. Hey, Monica, thank you for joining me. Come on in. As you enter in, we're starting in 1 minute. As you enter in, do me a favor, like, share, and tag. Like, share, and tag this broadcast because it's some good stuff that's about to be said in exactly 45 seconds. And we're going to start on time. I'm excited. Do y'all see this Kool-Aid smile? I'm excited to share tonight's story. We're talking about the woman behind the mask. The woman behind the mask. I'm excited. I'm going to be starting, look, in 1 more minute. And nope, I just said 45 seconds, so in about 20 seconds. 9 o'clock, we're here. Listen, so last night, let me introduce myself to you guys. For those of you who do not know me, I'm Tanya Walker. I am the author of Confidential Conversations. This fabulous devotional for women. It's a 21-day devotional. It talks about me. Even though I'm the main character, the main storyline in this book, in this devotional, I am having 21 conversations with God. And while, again, I'm that main character, if you're really honest with yourself, ladies, number one, fellas, I want you to join in because I want you to know what women are going through and how you can help them get through it. But if you're honest with yourself, you too can get past what it was that I was able to walk through. Okay. And so what this book really talks about is, and I'm just recapping from yesterday, and then we're going to go right into today's conversation. So Confidential Conversations is a book about triumph. It's a book about failure. It's a book about perseverance. And if you're honest with yourself, you can go through the process. You can go through the pain. You can go through loss. Hey, sister, you can go through loss and all these things. But if you follow the unction of the Holy Spirit, if you follow the leading of God, you can push through and still never look like you've been through. And so this book is about shedding the mask. Women, recapping, it is a book of mask. It's a book of fear. It's a book of failure. It's a book of abuse. It's a book of hurt and pain, but it's also a book, I said before. So you get to shed the old you and allow the real you, because for so many of us, we wear masks and we are fronting, we're faking, we're not who we're supposed to be. But when we get to the place where we can allow our real selves to come out and shine, the authenticity about us, people begin to look at us and love us and don't understand why they really love us, right? And so that's where we are. So I'm going to go ahead. So tonight we're talking about the woman behind the mask. And so in this conversation, I'm going to ask you about 30 questions. This is a time that women is straight talk, real talk. And these questions, my hope is that these questions begin to probe something in you and make you start thinking about who you are and what you're doing. I hope that these questions get you, write these questions down. Answer the questions to yourself. If you don't want to answer the questions on the broadcast, answer the questions in your secret room. But the woman who, we're talking about the woman behind the mask, the woman who's one way or another, listen to this. She's trying to be I'm every woman. How many of us are in this place where we are always trying to be something for everybody? You're running here for this person, running there for that person. You're trying to be everything for everybody. You're trying to be the girl Sasha Fierce. You're trying to look good, feel good. You're trying to do all these things. But when you really, really look at what it is, hey, Lomax, when you really, really look at it, you're on the verge of a breakdown because you're stretched so far, and because you don't know how to use the magical words no, you're over there being everything to everybody. You're trying to be Superwoman. So today, I'm inviting every woman on this broadcast who listens live or catch the replay, I'm inviting you to take off your mask and get real. Tonight is a night that we're going to get real about who we really are. Not for me, not for anybody on the broadcast, but get real for you. Get real for your children, because your children, your family, your friends, they're probably tired of seeing the fake you. And I'll get to that part in our talk today. But today, just start trying to take off your mask. So one of the first questions I want to pose to you tonight is, when did it happen? When did you put your first mask on? And so remember, we talked about masks, and masks are things of fear, failure, abuse. Masks are low self-esteem. Masks are, I've gained too much weight and I don't feel pretty anymore. Masks are, I'm sick and the world sees me sick and I don't know how to feel better because I'm sick, I feel helpless. Masks are hidden hurts and masks are so many things. So when did you put your first mask on? When did all the masking begin? Many of us have worn so many masks, listen to this, that never ever belonged to us. God never intended for us to put on the mask that we wear. And I'm not talking about makeup. I'm not talking about the wigs and the weave. I'm not talking about the fake nails and whatever else that we have fake. I'm talking about the thing that you have on your face that you're hiding from the world, the thing that you don't want the world to know that's bruised and broken. What is it that you're putting on right now that you don't want the world to see? That's the mask that I'm talking about. When did that thing come on? When did it happen? And I'm going to get real deep. Did it happen when somebody touched you inappropriately and you still haven't forgiven them? Did it happen when he hit you This is a girl talk. So guys, you're on here. You're going to be a part of this. I'm not a male basher. I will never bash a man. But did he hit you when he wasn't supposed to? Did he walk out and leave you with the kids? When did the mask come on and you felt insignificant? When you found out about your husband's affair. Exactly. And that was probably one of the most hurtful things in your life, because at that point, Maria, when you found out about his affair and that they had a child that was on the way, it made you feel insignificant. It made you feel like you weren't good enough. And so now the masking begins, and now you begin to look at yourself that like, I'm not as good as I'm supposed to be because he cheated on me. Right? That's when the masking starts. When somebody does something to us, or we allow things to happen to us, and we mask. Because we don't want the world to know that we're broken. We don't want the world to know that it hurt us. We want to walk around again. I'm every woman. It's all in me. But really, it's not all in you. Come on. It's really not all in you. You have to, at that point, accept this thing. Because Maria, if I can be honest with you, it happened to me. It happened to me too. I'm out there making money. I'm selling real estate. I'm doing a really good job. I'm ready to go take him to dinner because I just closed on in a 7-day close, full cash, $350,000 house. I'm ready to go party. And he cheating. We're in a 3,500 square foot house and he cheating. It happened to me. And that's when another mask came on for me. And so now I'm beginning to ask myself, but then I had to realize that it wasn't my fault. So when you begin to look at the mask that you wear and you begin to analyze why you're wearing it, and then say, okay, that's not me. I can give that to God. See, I got a story to tell. Come on. So I can give that away because that's not the mask that I was supposed to wear. Many of the mask women that we put on, God never intended for us to wear. Come on. This real talk. Straight talk, real talk. So how do you unmask it? How do you unmask what you really don't know the truth about? How do you take off something you don't know the truth about? How do you overcome it and without telling yourself that it's a lie? Because most of the times we're telling ourselves that it's a lie, that it never happened. No, he didn't cheat on me. No, he didn't hit me. No, he really didn't walk out on me and leave me with the kids. No, I didn't just lose my job, my business. No, I didn't just foreclose on my house. No, they didn't just take my car. How do you stop telling yourself these lies? Come on, prayer. But you tell it with the truth. I feel it. You tell it with the truth. And here's what you have to do, women. You have to go out and find your truth. And you find your truth in the book, the Bible. You find your truth in the Bible. Whatever you are saying about yourself to yourself, there is a word that goes along with it in the Bible. So if you're telling yourself that you are ugly and that because he left you, you have to be ugly, you go and find the word of God that says I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. If you lost your job and they tell you that you're insignificant because you got to find the word to tell the truth about what's going on. Come on. And hold on. We'll hold on about that one, because we don't necessarily open up to others, because we have to be careful who we open up to. There's sometimes, if not all the time, we need to ask, who do I share my story with? Who can I trust with my story? Who can I trust with my feelings? Who can I trust with my heart? Because see, everybody don't mean you well. And again, this is not a male bash. This is not a girl bash. But we have to be careful when we are unmasking, that we're unmasking with genuine people, with people who know who they are. I can't come unmasked to you, Maria, if we're going through the same problems. I can't come tell you about my stuff if you're going through the same stuff and you haven't forgiven yourself about it. So we have to be really careful. And remember, because we are so good at wearing masks, how do you know if the person that you're standing next to is really telling the truth about them? Right, your testimony. Exactly. You have to share your testimonies. And then too, listen to this, Maria. You have to share your testimonies when you're told to, because sometimes everybody don't need to hear the testimony. We still got to tell our testimony in order. We still got to do what we have to do in order. So when you find the truth, and this is where the intimacy in your relationship, remember, this is a book that goes, it's going to go through it's going to take you through some stuff, but it's going to lead you back to the Word of God. And in that, it is going to help you get to this place where you're intimate. And in the intimacy with God, when you start to sit at his feet and you start to tell God, this is what's going on with me, then he can begin to pour the desires of your heart. He can begin to tell you, who do you talk to? Because everybody don't need to hear your story. I can go in Bible, but I'm not going to talk Bible. We're talking confidential conversations tonight. Listen, go ahead, share this broadcast for me. Do me a favor. If you have not shared the broadcast, share this broadcast with as many women as you possibly can. So listen, what are you telling yourself about yourself? So we do a lot of self-talk, women. We do a lot of self-talk, but are we talking the right talk? What are you telling yourself about yourself? Are you telling yourself that you're not, that you don't belong in this place? Are you telling yourself that you're not worthy because you don't have a degree? Are you telling yourself that you're not worthy because he cheated on you? Come on. What are you telling yourself about yourself? And we all know that because something is said, listen to this, just because something is said, and even if we believe it, don't necessarily mean it's true. I'm going to say that one more time. Regardless of what's said, and even if we believe it, doesn't necessarily mean that what we just heard and what we believe is true about the situation. So what are you telling yourself? Self-talk, the right self-talk, positive self-talk is what we need at this point. Right? We got to know the right stuff. That's why you got to get back in your word. That's why you have to get back in it. And like Maria just said, sit at his feet. Be like Mary. Sit at his feet and ask him. And you know what? Sit at his feet and just be quiet. Because when you sit at his feet and you're quiet and you're still and you're listening to what he has to say, then he can begin to pour into you. And then the words that you say about yourself can begin to change. Then your vocabulary begins to change. The vernacular of how you speak, everything begins to change when you're sitting at his feet, because now he can pour into you and tell you more than what you really ever thought about you. He didn't care that Rahab was, we said this yesterday, he didn't care that Rahab was a prostitute. He needed Rahab to fulfill a purpose. So he don't care what you've been through. He wants you first to unveil the mask so that he can get to the meat of the matter, so that you can fulfill a purpose that he has for your life. But God can't fulfill this purpose for you because you're too busy hiding. You're too busy running from you. You're too busy not forgiving. The woman behind the mask is crying. She's crying. She's dying literally behind the mask. She's smothering behind the mask. She's suffocating. And I'm dramatic like that because that was me behind the mask, not knowing who in the devil I was. Trying to be everything to everybody and couldn't be anything to me. The woman behind the mask. The woman behind the mask. We get rid of the mask with truth, with authenticity. We get rid of the mask by living our truth. I don't care if they don't like your truth. You live your truth. That's how you become real. Look, what the real truth about you, about what you're going through. You have to be real about the real truth that's going on about you and what you've gone through. You cannot be afraid to release it and let it go. If you don't have a job, okay, I don't have a job right now, God. What we going to do? Because then he's going to tell you to trust me. Okay, God, I'm having difficulty keeping my mouth closed with my husband. What we going to do? He'll begin to tell you. We need to begin to start talking about the things that are going on, but we don't talk about them to man. We talk about them to him. All of the questions that lead to your why, all of the questions that we're talking about right now leads to why we're broken. And it's not until you can first acknowledge that you have the problem that you can begin to do the soul searching. So here are some more questions I have for you. And I'll say this. Since God already knows your problems, why you just won't tell them to him? Since God already knows the problems, Why aren't we telling him what's going on with us? Why are we trying to hide from the very person who knows everything about us? He knows everything about us, yet we choose not to tell him. We'll tell it to Facebook, but we won't go tell it to God. We'll tell it to somebody who we think is our BFF, but they hate us behind closed doors because we don't look like we're having issues, right? And so because we don't look like we're having issues, they think that everything is good. So we tell them, and then they're in the background stabbing us. Come on. Why aren't we telling God the problems that we're having? Because he already know them. So if we sit there and begin to tell him what's going on, then he can begin to break up. Remember, I told you on Tuesday, God can begin to break up the fallow in your heart. So when he begins to pour stuff in you, the mask can begin to come off. And the things that are supposed to be in you can begin to grow and germinate. They can grow and flourish. And here's what I know about mask, because it happened to me. Two things about mask. You can hold your mask for only so long and become invisible to yourself. You become invisible to yourself while you're masking, because now you don't know who the real you is. You're invisible to you, but the world still sees through you. When you're masking, when you think you have perfected faking, when you think you have perfected the art of masking and hiding and all these things, the only person that don't know what's going on with you is you. Everybody else can see it. Everybody else can see straight through that lie. Everybody else know you over there broke and hungry, but because you, come on. God wants us to come to him. Hey, Doris, listen, the only person when you mask, think about this. And I wish I had a mask. I'm going to just use my towel. I'm hiding, but you can still see me. Only to me am I invisible. You just saw me put a mask on my face. Only to me am I the only one that's hiding from. Because I don't know who I am. I put on the mask of fear. I put on the mask of failure. I put on the mask of success. I put on the mask of abuse. I put them all on and started to build this new person, started to reinvent this new person. And all along, the person I was reinventing never existed. That's what masking does. The woman behind the mask creates a facade of somebody completely different, thinking that the world don't see. When the world can see her, they can see straight through her. They know that she's going through it, but because she's afraid to express her fears. Come on, y'all. This real. Remember, I'm just the actress in the play, but if you're real about reading this book, it'll help you grow through what you're going through. And so here's the thing, and I'm moving fast. We faked it for so long that we don't know the real us really exists. We faked it so long. We are good at faking. Y'all, I ain't going to go to, yes, I am. Y'all, when y'all married women, fake it in the bed with your husbands. Come on. I'm just saying. Single girls faking it with married men, making them, come on. I'm going to put it out there. We're faking in relationships. We're faking in these relationships with these dudes that God never ordained us to be with. We're faking it in church. Come on. I'm just going to go there. We're faking it. We're faking it in the places that we're living. We're living above our means. Come on, we're living above our means and we're faking it, trying to pretend like we have it all together when everything behind the door is raggedy. We're faking it in the cars that we drive, knowing that you can't pay the note or the insurance, yet you're driving it every day, just so somebody can think you have it going on. We're faking it by going to Walmart online, buying these red bottom shoes when you don't have any clothes to put on your children's back. Come on, it's real talk. We faked it for so long. We've put these masks on for so long that we think the world don't know that we're doing what we're doing. We want everybody to know that we're red bottoms and Gucci. We're red bottoms and what Prada, whatever we're wearing. But you can't, but your credit score 300. But you're so busy masking so that you can fit in. God never created you so that you could fit in. So why are we masking and pretending and being fake, knowing that when we go home, we don't have food to eat, knowing that when we go home, we just got a pink notice on our door because we can't pay the light bill, knowing that our cell phone just got cut off and we had to go borrow the money to go get the phone back on, but you red bottom down. You're masking. Your red bottoms down. Your Gucci and Prada down. Come on, you're Chanel and down. Come on, I'm just real talk tonight. We're masking. Who are we behind the mask? Who are we behind the mask? Who's the woman behind your mask? What are you faking about? What are you lying to yourself about? Come on. What are you lying to yourself? Credit score 320. But you got some red bottoms on that you got from Walmart online. I'm just real talking tonight. The woman behind the mask. Okay. So let me tell you about the woman that I found. And I'm almost done. Real talk. Let me tell you about this woman. And you all know this woman. If you go to John 4, and this is all in the book. If you read the book, I need you guys to go and get this book, Confidential Conversations, 21-day devotional. It is, I think, the most dynamic book of transparency. Hey, Pastor, how are you? The most dynamic book of transparency and authenticity that you'll ever find. Yes, scream, because they wearing red bottoms, honey. We wearing red bottoms, and we got credit score 320, but we want the world to think that we're great. We're every woman. We're Sasha Fierce. We can go spend $300 for a Beyonce ticket, but don't have food to go eat. We don't have gas in our cars. We can't get to work the next day. We're masking so the world can think we have it all together. When you pull back that mask, you're broke, busted, and disgusted. That's what we're doing to ourselves when we mask it. We put on stuff. We put on air so the world, hey honey, we put on air so the world can think we are all together good. When you start to pull back that onion, come on, when you start pulling back every mask that you've put on, you finally realize I'm really not all of that in a bag of chips. I'm just talking real talk tonight. So the woman in this book, in John chapter 4, I called her the Queen of Masking, and you'll find it again in the book, in Confidential Conversations. In John chapter 4, I talk about this woman, the woman at the well. The woman at the well, we all know her story. She was a woman who was married 5 times, and then she was living with a man who wasn't her husband. I'm going to give it to you the Message version way. Come on, that girl had been married 5 times, couldn't keep a husband if he tied him to her. Okay, she couldn't keep a husband, but that's what we do. And here it was, and I'm going to read this to you. Imagine this chick being married 5 times. And now she in a house with a dude that ain't even her husband. She in a house with a dude that's not even her husband. And so you know how we do it, women. Come on. Y'all know, oh, you gossiping about it. You telling, you talking nasty nothings about it. You're telling, here she go again, marrying somebody else. Here she go again, sleeping with somebody else's husband. This is all Bible. I'm just giving it to you, the Message version, okay? And we know how we do it. We're over there talking about it. But here's what this Samaritan woman does. If you read your story in John 4, she goes at the most inopportune time to fill her water vessels. And this is all about what we're talking about. She goes and she fills her water vessel at the most inopportune time. She goes at the break of day at noon. Nobody fills their water vessel at noon because it's the hottest time of the day. Most of the women filled in the cool of the day because they wanted to sit around the well and talk about their husbands, talk about their children. But she didn't have that to talk about because remember, she had been married 5 times and now she's sleeping with somebody else's dude. She's in the house with somebody else's dude. And so when she gets to this place, at the most inopportune time, there was somebody there to meet her. Jesus. And this is all story because it talks about how her mask came off, and it talks about how God can help you break the mask that you're wearing. So when she gets to the well, she didn't expect anybody to be there because she's masking. She's ducking and dodging, trying to make sure nobody see her because they're going to talk about her if they see her. And Jesus was sitting there waiting on her. I can just imagine he was sitting there twiddling on, had his hand under his chin. He waiting on her because he knew she was coming, because he already knew the problems that she had. And listen to this. Here's what he spoke. It was 4 words that Jesus said to her that changed the entire trajectory of this woman's life. He said, "Give me a drink." Now, I know most of you who sit up and you talk about, okay, he just asked her for a drink of water. No, he didn't. Because here's what happened. When he said, "Give me a drink," Jesus broke the rule. Y'all don't listen to this. He broke the rule when he spoke to her because she was a Samaritan and he was a Jew. This is all in the book. She's a Samaritan, he's a Jew. In that day and time, a Jew and Samaritan had no dealings with each other. So Jesus broke the rule. Jesus said, I'm ready to break the rule for you, woman, to help you unveil the mask. I'm ready to do whatever I gotta do for you to help you unveil the mask so that the real you can start to shine, so the real you can become who I've created you to be. And here it was, the minute he began to tell her and talk, all he did was said, give me a drink. And she knew, because he knew her story. He didn't have to go through her story. He already knew what was going on with her. I'm telling you this for this reason. And I have 5 minutes and I'm done. I'm telling you for this reason. He already know what you're masking. Go tell him. Meet him at the well so he can ask you for a drink. Meet him at the well so he can ask you for a drink, so that he can begin to help you take off those things that you're wearing. Again, I'm going to recap. What mask are you wearing today that you've worn for 15 years? What mask are you wearing today that you picked up yesterday that never belonged to you? We are picking up stuff that never belonged to us. The things that we're wearing on our shoulders, in our mind, come on, the things that we're holding on to never ever intended, God never intended it for it to be a part of who we are. But we've made it a part of our genetic makeup. It's a part of who we are. We live, breathe, and eat this thing. Hey, Monique, we live, breathe, and eat the dirt that we wear. We live, eat, and drink it, pretending to be something that we were never supposed to be. And so all this woman at the well, she's ducking and dodging, and she got there. She never knew that he would be there waiting on her. And he broke protocol so he could flip the script and change who she was. He wants to change what you're wearing right now. If you're wearing bitterness, he wants to change it. If you're wearing tears of sorrow right now, he wants to turn them to tears of joy. He wants you to be like me, smiling unapologetically, and people hate it because they don't understand why you smiling. Come on. He wants to change everything about you. He wants you to get a drink from him and take the mask that you're wearing and wear it no more. He wants to take the hidden thing in you and reveal the new you. He is saying, look, take that off and stand unapologetically. Be who I created you to be. You're a circle trying to fit into, you're a square trying to fit into a circle. God said, I made you a square for a reason, LaTanya. Listen, and I couldn't understand why I didn't fit in high school. I had friends, but I never fit in. I was always the different one. I didn't understand why, as a little kid, all my friends were church friends. I ain't never had no friends outside of church. I didn't understand why God made me different. I didn't understand how at 12 I'm the whole healing and deliverance. I didn't understand my life then. So I tried to make myself fit into something that God never intended. So I began to mask. Think about it. My mask started when I was probably about 8. And I'm going to make you laugh a little bit because it's about in the book. When Chi-Chi beat me up. My mask started when I got bullied as a kid. That's when my mask started. My mask started, and they'll probably hate me when I tell it. When my brothers and sisters used to sing songs about me because I didn't understand why I had full lips and light eyes. I didn't understand why I was light skinned and they were dark skinned. Come on, we know these black people. Come on. I didn't understand why they would sing a song and make it. So my mask of insecurity started when I was a kid. Think about when you're the woman behind the mask. When did it start? When did you put it on? When did you put it on? Come on, I'm just real talk. When did you put that mask on? I put mine on when I was in elementary, when I had to get somebody to watch me come home because they were sticking hot needles in me as a kid. Come on, real talk. I'm being bullied as a kid. Never knew that God had called me at such a young age. Never understood, again, why I was so different and why I couldn't have the same kind of friends everybody else had. So I masked it. And I began to be friends with people who God never intended me to be friends with. I didn't do too much crazy. I may have jumped in a car and hit you once or twice, but I didn't do much crazy. Come on. I didn't do too much crazy. But I was always different. So I'm challenging you tonight as I get ready to close to think about when you put your first mask on. What was the very first mask that you put on? And then as you put that mask on, you put another one on because you didn't know how to get rid of the first one. And then as you put the second one on, you began to put another one on. Pretty soon you put on so many that you have this heaviness on about you. You have this heaviness on you, and you don't understand why the weight is so heavy on you. And here you are, you're really trying to figure it out, but you can't figure it out because you don't know who you are, because you've tried to be everything to everybody. You've tried to people please everybody when the only person that really mattered was you. Because if you're not happy, the people you're trying to please, they can see through it and they're really not happy either. Come on, that's the first question, Michelle. When was the first mask put on? And 9 times, if not 10 times out of 10, the very first mask we put on started when we were a kid. Come on. Come on. Work my way backwards. But why did you work your way backwards? And so now that you've asked God that question, Rhodesia, now that you've asked him that question, you got to sit still and watch him and listen for the answer. Hey, Pastor. So you got to ask yourself, because oftentimes, if not all the time, the very first mask that we put on happened when we were children. We didn't want because we were violated as children. Our innocence, some of us, was taken as children, and because we didn't have the words to articulate, we didn't know how to say that they touched us, or we were told that if we tell that they would hurt us, or they would hurt our parents, so we masked the hurt, and we never forgave. And so what we did is allow that hurt to go dormant. We allowed that hurt to go dormant in us, and so now we put another mask on top of that, and it was a fake mask of I'm okay. Because you didn't want the world to know that you were hurting. You didn't want the world to know that they touched you when you were 5 and you loved them, auntie, uncle, and you touched me at 5. So I put this mask on now. Now I'm insecure. Now I'm insecure because I don't know who I really am. Because they touched me when they were not supposed to touch me. Come on. This real talk. I thought I was through. Y'all know I'm the author going to be through though in about 3 minutes. Real talk. Let's get to the meat of the matter. So tonight, as you go to bed, as you prepare yourself for rest tonight, ask God to show you when the first mask came on. God, when did my mask of unacceptance come on? When did my mask of fear and failure come on? Hey, Tommy, when did the mask of hurt and bitterness come to me? And let him show you where it hurt. And I'm going to tag Tamika Williams on this because I got this from her. When God shows you where that first hurt came from, where that first mask came from, give it to him and let him heal you where you hurt. That's credit of Pastor Tamika Williams. Let him heal you where you hurt. Because as you begin to take off them, and I love to use this analogy of the Vidalia onion. Many of us women are Vidalia onions. Y'all don't really want to be an onion, do you? But that's the beauty of it. The Vidalia is the best onion in the world. You have to pull back all these layers to get to the sweet part of the onion, right? So let God pull back the ugly. Let him pull back the layer of bitterness. Let him pull back the layer of abuse so that he can get to the sweet spot. Because see, in the Vidalia onion, if you start pulling back the layers of the onion, there's the sweet part of the onion, the core. That when you get to it, it's not bitter like the rest. It's actually sweet. Let God get to the sweet part of where you are. That's the soul of you. Hey, Beverly. Let him get to the soul of you. Ask God, God, where did my first mask come from? And when you find out the first mask, check this out, then all the other masks will begin to reveal themselves. Because when he revealed that first mask, now you're going to feel some freedom. When he reveals the first mask, now you're going to feel the weight come off of you. And now you're going to want the second mask to come off. Because when God revealed my first mask and he took that thing from me, Lord, I want you to take every one of them. so that I can be authentic, so that my smile can be real. So when people look at me, they don't know why I'm smiling. They don't know what's going on with me because my smile is real. Regardless of what I'm going through, authenticity is my name. I'm real talk all day. What you see is what you get all day. I'm laughing all day. Even in my tears, I'm laughing all day because I know God is right there in that thing with me. But that didn't come overnight. That came with me allowing him to unveil the mask and show me me. And I told you Tuesday night, I didn't like who he showed me. I didn't like her. I wasn't a mean girl, but I didn't like her. Yeah, no, I didn't like her. She wasn't the best. But who I am today, I love me unapologetically. It ain't nothing y'all can do or say that'll make me hate myself because I know who I am. And I want all of us women to get to this place where we can live unapologetically, that we can smile authentically. Come on, that we can be who he created us to be. Okay, so I'm done. If you have some questions, I'll take some questions. If you want to chime in real quick, I'll invite you in. We can have a little chit chat and go from there. Otherwise, I'm going to hang up. So let me know. Let me know if you have some questions. If you want to chime in with chit chat, I can just buzz you on in. If you do want to invite yourself in, hit the little button on your phone that has a man and a computer screen. And I'll invite you in and we can have just a few minutes of chit chat. Otherwise, I'm going to hang up. Come on. Somebody got a question. Beverly, you going to chime in? You chiming in, Beverly? You want to come in and talk? Okay. Well, if no questions, I don't, because Facebook is slow. So I don't know if you're saying yes or no. If there are no questions, I'm going to see you back here. I don't know if I'm going to come on next week because that's Thanksgiving week. I don't know if I'm coming back. So I'll let you know if I'm coming back next week or the week of after Thanksgiving because I want all of y'all to be with y'all's family for Thanksgiving because I want to be with mine. So I love you guys. I thank you for being here with me tonight. Listen, if you have not gotten my book, go and get the book, Confidential Conversations. I don't know what's wrong with my screen. Go get the book, Confidential Conversations, 21 conversations I had with God. And even though I'm the main storyline, I promise you, I got a testimony today where they saw themselves in at least three or five chapters. Okay. So go get the book. It's on my website, LatanyaDWalker.org. That there are absolutely no O's in my name. Okay. So go and get the book. It's $15. And yeah. And share it with somebody. Share this broadcast. I'll see you next week or so. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.